Oh, I hope. Yeah, I managed to get half an hour so I can finish this episode that I've been editing for like 2 weeks now and things like that. So, welcome to the White Wing Part 10. Finally, yay. Yeah, I know. It's just work. Oh, there's a Rihanna song here somewhere. It's all just work. What is that song about? I don't understand it. My stepdaughter plays it all the time, and she just sounds like she's getting more drunk as the song goes on. It's crackers. So yeah, welcome to part 10 of the White Wing build, and I'm like, yeah, I broke it again. So, yeah, broke it. So yeah, be careful with that, because ass. So yeah, go get your coffees and things like that, and sit down and relax and watch and things and like that, and I'm gonna giddy. That's my brother Adam. My other American brother Adam. He of the scratch-built TARDIS of awesomeness. I'll tell you what, I love editing his videos together. I really do. He sends me loads of clips. Half the time he's out shot. I think he's got that from me. But listening to his voice, oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful and dreamy and things like that. And I could quite happily just sit there listening to his voice all day long. Really good. Right, let's crack these off. Ooh, careful. So if you haven't checked Adam out by now, go and have a look at his TARDIS build. Completely handmade from balsa wood, and it is absolutely fantastic. And I've got the advantage of I'm editing all that, so I get to see it before you do. Come on. Out your pop. So as you can see, it's dry enough for me now to handle, which is what we'd like. Quick pop. So we're going to very quickly gloss varnish all this. Going to gloss varnish it. Or am I? No, let's detail paint this again. We'll add some more greely details again as well, because some of the colours have darkened off, lightened off even. I've been a little bit too heavy handed, like this one here was that funny dark grey green colour. So I'm just going to touch some of those back in. And you can see now the original colour underneath. We like that, we can leave that there as pre-shading. Not a problem. We do like that. Come on. Let's just do this very carefully, very gently, delicately. And we'll get the gloss varnish ready. Is that a brush? Lovely. Right, so back home from work. Gloss varnish has had overnight to dry. And I just texted my mate Fox, and I said, look, there you go, sneak peek and things like that. So show you very quickly, we can still make out some of the lighting details that we did. So we've still got that greebly straight away. This one here, it's still darker. All that pre-shading I did on here now needs to be rectified, but we can do that again with a post-shading wash type thing. I'll get to that when we get there. So yeah, that lovely dark area that I put on there has now been lightened completely, so it's gone completely against what we were doing. We'll fix it. It's not a problem. Still got greebly there. Not quite dark enough on that side, but we can use this now as part of the weathering, where it's all dark. Oh, hello. Alarm clock reminding me to do things that I've already done. Brilliant. I'm ahead of myself. Yay! I like that. What we've done as well is the decals we've added are now a little bit faded and weathered in, so they're not in your face. There we go. There's another greebly. Yeah, so they've been weathered down nicely. Where else is there? So we've still got some greeblies down in the bottom corner there. I think that one. That'll be square there. So we've still got some of the detail. Yeah, there you go. So it's just more subdued now that we've added that top coat on. Happy with that. Right, so I'll stop slapping myself on the back. There you are. So I need some odorless thinners for oil painty type things, and I'm finally getting down the bottom of there, but it's not because I spilt it, it's because I'm actually doing proper things with it rather than spilling it everywhere and doing a langy. So Langy's doing a Tony, but I'm doing a langy. Now that's intriguing. So it's literally just enough to cover the bottom of there because I don't need absolute masses of it. A bit more. So it's not a huge deal, not a huge quantity. Now that's how I spill things, because I leave pipettes in the top of the jars and then I knock the pipette and the jar falls off and all over my desk. So that can go in my little jar there. And look up the Starship FIlth. Starship FIlth. And then we get a mixing brush. In a second, there's going to be a rude word behind me because my dad's just come upstairs. So I'll literally go in and grab a little scooch. It's probably too much. Oh no, it's just right. Run off the east side there on the coat. Oh, that's running nicely. That is running nicely. My God, I'm getting better at this. So, just wipe that on my towel off to the side, grab my glove. Ooh, I just had a little burp to myself and I remember eating that. That was most unpleasant. So I'll do that wrinkle test again. I just get a wrinkle on my finger, glove. Nice and zippy, nice and zippy. If anything, that's a little bit too watery. So I'll just add a little bit more Starship FIlth. Again, not a huge amount, just enough to thicken it up a little bit. See how it looks. It's a little bit goopy, lovely. Right, so I'll dry that on the towel. Try my glove on the towel. Grab my washing brush. Put it on a little bit, and then we'll zoom you in. Do it that way. And literally the same thing again. Just going to add the wash everywhere. And again, if you flood the area like so, just wick away the excess off your brush, that's a paper towel, and then just give it a quick wicking with the brush. Now we marvel as this slips away everywhere, all over the place. So you can absolutely batter it like so, or you can be really precise with it. This part is your choice. Show the detail there. This one here. Oh, I do like that. Fill that in. That's a good one. I like that. Oh, I do like that. That was kind of cool. And so now it's literally a case of just very patiently running around all the greeblies, like so. At this point, I'm about to put the earphones in and get carried away myself. I'll zoom out and we'll finish that in time lapse. So I'll just come right in for this canopy, sort my lighting out, and then just look at the way that pops. The second you put a wash to it, there we go. Just lets it right up. Lovely stuff. I've still got a little bit of work to do with this canopy as well. There's some little gribbly detail-y chips and spangs and things like that we need to add. But again, we'll get there with that a little bit later on when we're doing the final touches. Hello, helicopter. That's arriving late, that. Literally right on the doorstep of the local hospital where I work. And we have a helipad there. That's one of the busiest in the northwest. It's not very often they arrive this late. to as well, bringing this detail to life here. These little servos and actuators and things like that on the tail vanes. There's a couple of grooves back here that aren't quite prominent. They're reflected on the nose cone itself. You see those little chevrons there. So it's quite a little mirror image reflection-y type thing. Nice little quirk, I hadn't spotted that earlier, but they're not quite as prominent as the nose cone. Prominent, that's me. That's not like I know what I'm doing. Again, don't worry, if you flood the area, just wick away the excess on a paper towel from your brush, and then take the brush to the piece and wick that excess away. He's all fixable. So, and then don't forget you've got this, there's a tiny little lip. You can probably see it zipping away down there. There's that tiny little lip there as well that I can catch. Zip, 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 zip. You'll probably find yourself doing that when you get a nice big line like this to follow. Probably find yourself going zip, zip, like that. Stop it. Zip. Right, that's that. Got parts off to the side drying and drying and drying and drying. And let me grab you. Come here, yo. There we go. So that's that. So you can see from the glare just there on that piece. I've still got glare, which means that's still wet. So I'm going to leave that for about an hour and see if it dries off a little bit. And then we'll come back with the cotton bud and wipe the buggery out of it, like we did with the cockpit tub thing. Yes. Right then. Right then. So we've got that grotty horrible engine nozzly type thing. And we've got one that's still in primer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a metallic paint on that one now. Because why not? And you know, we're always assuming that these things are symmetrical and things like that. I'm actually assuming that these things are cobbled together. You know, 'cause it is a workhorse. You know, they're battered and bruised and God knows what else, and you know, they'll come back damaged. And just like with real, just like it's alright, somebody's texting me off to the side. Just like real aircraft would have been during the Second World War. You know, with the 3 and the 4 engines and 2 engines and stuff like that. If one of the engines broke and they had another engine or another plane that came in with broken engines as well, they used to cannibalise them and make one bird out of 2 and things like that. That's a terrible explanation, I know, but I'm going to assume that the same happens here. You know, you see these things getting shot to pieces during the Battle of the Death Star, during New Hope, and you see bits falling off Luke's, you know, X-Wing and things like that. They would have had to repair that at some point. And if they've got something else that's broken, why not use another engine? So that's what we're going to do there. So the panels that we've got that correspond with this, I'm actually going to paint these a different colour completely. Same with this. The basic part, I'm going to paint that something completely different. So I'm just going to have a quick look at my Vallejo paints. Vallejo paint. Nope. Nope. Where's my gunmetal then? There's my gunmetal. So we'll try with gunmetal first, just to give it a base colour. I'll get my airbrush. So yeah. Oh. So again, this is going to be one of those things where we don't need absolute gallons of the stuff. So hopefully we should get away with taking the cup off completely. And literally using a couple of drops. Oh, excuse me. So drop that in there like so. Dot of white tack. I still haven't found my cocktail sticks either. I'm blaming every single one of you for that. Tidy up. Ugh. I tidied up, now I can't find anything. You're all to blame. I'm blaming you lot. It's not my scruffiness. And you guys insisted I be tidy. Right, so I should have enough pressure there now. Get in. Right, so literally 1, 2, 3, 4 drops. Not 4.5 because I've got some on the rim. There's a root joke in there somewhere. Test the flow. Wiggle it all on. No, I don't even need 4 drops. I'm just going to cut back to air just to flash that back a little bit. Oh, that's a lovely colour. That is a lovely colour. Now this one will be getting a gun wash, as well as some highlights. I'll give that a dry brushing as well, I think. So I'll leave that to dry now, off to one side, so I'll give that a couple of... Ooh, look at that shine! Because it's a metal, the metals always dry a little bit longer anyway, and they flake off for days and days and days afterwards. So that'll be left definitely overnight, just to let it stabilise. But then, these pieces here, I need 2 months worth to start base coating these in the silver as well. Do you know what? Use his gunmetal up. Gunmetal gone. I've got to start with thumbnail again. I just hit upon an idea. I've got this cotton bud type thing, so I could get rid of the gunmetal from in there. What I'm actually going to do is just double that off to the side there, like so. I'm just going to use that as the dry brush, dry brush on this engine nozzle. So it's literally going to be on the one we painted dark. So we're literally dry brushing with the cotton bud, just to give that a little bit of a nick up. Because why not? Why not? Let's use the means at our disposal. Not that we get to see much of this detail anyway. Why not? Give it a quick wazzing. It's nothing major, it's just something to catch the eye and give the illusion that there's something there when it's not. We like that. We do like that. I'll probably use a lighter shade of a silver as well at some point. I've got it all in my bloody hands now, look. Look! This is why you shouldn't let me near paint. I don't know. Right, what am I doing? Clean the airbrush. Right then, so that pinwash has had a couple of hours to dry now, so I'm just going to pop it back on. And then get a cotton bud type thing. Put down there and cut that. And then just want to very quickly run over the top of all the stuff. Now I find some places might not have dried properly and might still be a little bit wet. If it is, just walk away from that area completely. Leave it for another hour or so to do its thing. Try and stay perpendicular to the lines as well, if you can. Good example is, we've got all these lines coming down this way. Let's zoom you in a little bit, do it that way, there we go. So we've got all these lines here going horizontally. If we come vertically across, so perpendicular to the piece, what you'll do now is you'll remove the wash from the top of those lines there, but leave the wash inside the grooves. Whereas if we go with the grain, if you like, we'll actually take the wash out of those grooves. So just bear in mind the direction you're going in. Oops, shot Tony. Right, let's pull back a little bit. There we go. And then it's a case of coming over everything. So just on that back edge there, I'm just going to tilt the cotton bud away slightly so we can catch that rim. Beautiful. And for the most part, if you go with the direction of flow of where the atmosphere would go, bear in mind this is a spaceship and obviously there's no atmosphere in space, but they do go planet side sometimes where there will be an atmosphere. So if you come with the direction of flow, if we do have any wet spots, that can turn into streaks that you would find on ordinary aircraft, you know, like hydraulic leaks and things like this. It'll just give that illusion. Obviously keep an eye on how much damage we're doing to the cotton bud. If it becomes too damaged, we'll go through to the plastic shaft, which will start scratching the model if we're not too careful. So just pay attention to that. What is rattling there? You're doing me head in. Shift you, see if it was that. Here we go, just come across this side. Catch that big lumpy bit there. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Again, it's just the illusion that there's a depth there when there isn't any. Oops, careful. And then once we get this to a place where we're happy with it, walk away from it completely and let it dry for a couple of days now. That's the downside of using oil paints. Even when you thin them like this, it doesn't always work straight away. Or they don't always dry straight away even. You may have to wait a couple of days for them to stabilise properly. But that's fine. If, like me, you have a pile of shame, that just allows you to work on something else whilst this is sorting itself out. It's okay. There is always something else to do. Right, I'm pretty much happy with where that is now. He's spotting something else. Yeah, so I'm pretty much happy with that now. At the moment you can't really tell what's going on because it's still glossy and shiny, but that is pretty much what I was after. A gunk wash on here would have been slightly too dark, I think, and would have had all kinds of gummage. Gummage is a great word that I've just come across. So let me see if I can find some. So if you have a look on the chicken bonds, just around this little cog here, oops, there's a good example of gummage. Now if I'd done a panel wash like we've done here with the Y-wing. I nearly called it an X-wing again. Just let the camera focus. Now if we'd done that technique here, we would see more of the grey. So in this case, at this scale, that's perfect for what we're after. You know, we're after that really grubby, mechanical look. But at the smaller scales, it can be too overpowering. So if we just do a panel wash, like so, just livens everything up beautifully. So I'm just going to carry on with little greatly stuff. We should be able to start adding things like the ancillaries to the piece now. Speaking of ancillaries, just finish crimping all that off. Oh my! We'll start work on the pipework soon. So that goes on the top. And so we're not going to push this whole way home properly. Whole way home properly yet. So still got a couple of things to need to do. We still need to stick an astromech body in there. Oh, I've not done the astromechs yet, have I? Slacking. I'm slacking. What's that on? There it is. And then we'll grab this piece that goes underneath. That panel wash has grabbed that beautifully. Just livened up all this little detail here now. Fantastic stuff. That jerry can there. A tiny little jerry can. That's insane. That is absolutely ridiculous. Let's give that a quick scrub across the top. That is insane. It really is. So we'll just bob that on as well. I've gone bush where it only goes. There we go. That way around. And again, I'm not going to push that all the way home just yet, just in case there is any pipe work that goes in there. Look at that. Gorgeous. This looks absolutely stunning. I'm really happy with that. Really happy. I don't sound too happy. I've got to try and keep the voice down. My dad's having a nap. Oh, there we go. Bring that one out a little bit. Let's get to that corner there. Lovely. Right, stop missing. Right, that can bob off to the side now to dry for a couple of days. Zoom you out. Zoom you out. There we go. And we're just going to do the same now with these strands. Obviously, we're going to be really careful with this now because you know they're flimsy as hell. I nearly said a naughty word then. So yeah, go with the direction of travel on this back part here. And very carefully indeed, because like I said, they are very flimsy. Just go with the direction of travel if we can. Obviously we don't want to go scrubbing at this. In case we bend or even break it. Yeah, another gloss varnishing ball. And I genuinely can't remember what I did next. Genuinely can't remember, so I can't even give you a preview because I've not even got that far with the editing yet. I've normally got 3 episodes in a row sorted out, and I can give you a rough idea of what's coming next, but I can't do that this time because, yeah, I haven't. So join me next time and we'll do some more things to the Y-Wing to make it look like it does as you see now. As always, thank you so much for stopping by, watching this nonsense, putting up with my prattle, all that kind of rubbish, and I genuinely love you all. Thank you very 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 still one breath very 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 much. Thank you. Love you. Bye.